Welcome to the Soul Shaman podcast. My name is Haley Noah, and I'm a modern day shamanic practitioner, cacao ceremonialist, and soul purpose expert. I believe that the answers to the bigger and smaller life questions are already within you. You just need the right tools to uncover them. That is why in this podcast, I'll share what I call soul shamanism, a blend of shamanism, ancient wisdom, practical tools, and modern spirituality, all to help you connect to your soul so you can discover your purpose and remember your inner wisdom. Whether you are here for clarity, inspiration, or just a spark to guide your next step, I hope that my whispers may guide you. Now let's dive into today's episode. Well, hello. Welcome to the 10th episode of the Soul Shaman podcast. And I hope that you've been enjoying this podcast as much as I've been enjoying creating these episodes for you. And it does feel like a little milestone to already have been able to produce 10 episodes for you. So I hope that you've been enjoying all of the episodes and that you are ready for a new one. Because in this episode, I want to be talking to you about all the shoulds of being spiritual. You know, the things that people say that you should do or maybe you should not do if you are on a spiritual path. And if you really want to be spiritual, you need to do certain things. And otherwise, well, maybe that means that you are not part of the group. And the thing is, I don't do all of them. But over the years, I've gotten my fair share of judgment for that. And you know what? There was even a time where I started to believe that if I wasn't ticking all the spiritual boxes, that I wasn't good enough. And at some point, it even made me believe that when life wasn't working out for me, it was because I wasn't spiritual enough. On some occasions, it has actually also been said to me, you are not spiritual enough. And because of that, well, we are going to exclude you from our group. That is actually what happened. And you know what? There are so many ways in which you can do things. So that is why today I want to come to you with an episode sharing all the things that I don't do or do in a different way. Maybe you do too. And hopefully that can give you some support. And a little disclaimer, it is absolutely not my intention to offend anyone with this episode. Everyone has their own truth, and that is what I want to underline here. There is no right or wrong. There's only you doing you and me doing me. That is why I'm going to share my journey, my aha moments, my things that I wish that I learned along the way. So I hope that you are ready for this because we are going to get started with the very first should. Now this one is really one of my pet peeves. You should wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning if you are truly spiritual to meditate 1 hour every day. Listen, I have mad respect for everyone who rises early. If you wake up at the crack of dawn and if that gives you energy and that makes you feel alive and happy and that is the best way for you to start your day, then go for it. But I am the type of person who rather would record a podcast episode at 11 p.m. and because of that, there's absolutely no way that you are going to catch me rise at 5 in the morning, journaling and doing sun salutes. And you know what? That doesn't make me less of a spiritual person than the person who does. But for years, I thought that the reason why my life wasn't turning out as I had on my visualization board is because I was not able to rise up at the crack of dawn and then do my spiritual practice. But now I really see that there is no one size fits all. Some people go to bed at 8 or 9 in the evening. And then if that is you, then rising at 5 in the morning is probably going to work for you. But for other people, that is not the case. And I really believe that we need to let go of really honoring and validating and putting on a pedestal this type of ritual, because it does not work for everyone. And I mean, if you then rise at 9 in the morning, for example, and then you do your spiritual practice, or maybe you don't. Maybe you do it in the evening or in the afternoon or whatever. It really doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong here. So if you are like me and you are more a night owl, know that you can still be spiritual, have a spiritual practice. Your life will still work out even if you stay in bed late. And this also brings me into the second should, right? That you should meditate for at least 1 hour a day. And I love meditating. It is super powerful. And I do try to do a meditation every single day. And you know what? I've actually been on like a 50-day streak at the moment. And I'm really happy with that. But I don't want to meditate for an hour a day because I feel like I should, because otherwise I won't be able to manifest my dream life. I want to meditate every day because that makes me feel good, because that makes me feel calm, and that makes me feel centered and in touch with my soul and the spirits that are around me. That is why I want to meditate. And maybe that means that I'm going to meditate for an hour. Maybe this means that I'm going to meditate for 10 minutes. Maybe it means that I'm going to have a mindful moment for 1 minute. It doesn't really matter. It's all about the intention that is behind it and what it is that you need for you. And if you need an hour, you meditate an hour. If you need 2 hours, you meditate 2 hours. But do check in with yourself. Why am I doing this? If you are only doing it to manipulate the universe to get a certain outcome, how spiritual is that then really? And how much are you benefiting from it? And you know, I also believe that there are many ways to meditate. Yeah, you can sit on your meditation pillow in lotus and be still. But meditating, for me, it is also more a way of looking at life. It is a way to be fully conscious. So if you start your morning by brushing your teeth, fully aware, fully in connection with the now, maybe that is already a moment of meditation. Maybe you can drink your coffee really consciously, fully in connection with the moment. Then that is already a moment of meditation. Figure out what works for you. I was able to do that, and honestly, that has been really, really liberating. And I'm also not really the type of person who wants to do the exact same thing every day, because that is not what my life is like. Every day is different. So some days I'm going to want to do my meditation as a sit-down meditation in the morning. Sometimes I do it before I go to sleep at night. Sometimes I have a mindful moment in the middle of the day. It doesn't matter, still spiritual. And then there are the things that you should or should not eat when you are spiritual. And it is interesting because there was a period where it was all about being raw and vegan and organic and gluten-free and sugar-free. And now I notice that there's also like this new movement within the realm of spirituality where people say, no, you should eat meat and you need to drink broths and things like that. Listen, I've been a vegetarian, or I turned a vegetarian 17 years ago this year. And I believe 9 years ago, I took it even further and I went vegan. I became vegan, not because I wanted to be spiritual, but because I love animals. And because of that, I don't want to eat them. And I do have to admit that because I do eat vegan, every now and then I eat a plant-based, meat supplement, I think we can call it. And the other day I also had this conversation where someone said, oh, you should not do that because it's artificial and all of those things. And then after that conversation, I was like, oh, well, great. Now I cannot eat my supplements, my alternative for meat. And you know what? At the end of the day, if you want to eat meat, that is up to you. I don't want to eat meat because I love animals, and because of that, I don't believe in eating them. And that is a way for me to respect nature and to be closer in touch with life and with love and with all of that is flowing through me. But if there is something else that your body needs or that you believe, then yeah, you do you. There is no right or wrong when it comes to that. I mean, of course, I have my opinion, but everyone has their opinion. And that is basically also what this entire episode is about. Everyone is going to have their opinion, and sure, there can be scientific researches that either support more plant-based diets or fully meat diets. You know, I've even seen things on Instagram about eating butter or raw meat. I mean, it's not for me, but if that is going to help you get closer in touch with spirit, then that is what you need to do then, I think. But it's not to say that you are a better spiritual person if you eat raw meat or if you eat butter. I mean, come on. I'm really sure that is not what it can be about. And you know what? I've been speaking about all of this more in like the sense of the spiritual community. But as a teenager and a young adult, I saw myself as Christian, and I would go to church. And there I would also, get all of these shoulds and shouldn't do's. I was the type of Christian who would work on Sunday. And, you know, there was also lots of judgment around that. At some point, I started living with my boyfriend, but we weren't married. And there was also lots of judgment because of that. Because of that, at some point, I was not allowed anymore to be more active in church. And honestly, all of those things, they also really, really hurt me, because it really took out the ability for that community to just see me as the person that I am and respect me for that and allow me to live my life in the way that I wanted to. And that is maybe also part of life, you know, where people live together. We are always going to have our opinions. I already said that. And, you know, it comes to the things like if you are eating meat, but I've also had people telling me that I should not be wearing black if I want to be a spiritual person. I love wearing black. And maybe there are some things that you can say about it, but honestly, put me in a white wardrobe or, you know, a fully white outfit, I will feel awful. And that cannot really be something that we should want, right? So it's really also with everything. And then there's just one more thing that I want to point out, and that is being positive and high vibe all of the time. And I do think that this one is really tricky because, of course, it feels nice to be positive, but sometimes life sucks, and that is also allowed to be there. It can almost become a way of spiritual bypassing. I once had someone tell me, just raise your vibration when I was feeling down. And it really made me feel as if I could just flip a switch and all my emotions would disappear. And that was not the case. And also that made me doubt myself. But sometimes life gets messy and we go through struggles, through grief, through anger, through frustration. And you know what? That does not make you less spiritual. It makes you human. True spirituality is not about ignoring or suppressing your emotions. It is about being real with yourself. And if you are going through something that sucks, then the best way to move through that, to get on the other side of that, is to actually live through it and to just admit, okay, things suck now and I don't feel great. And that will maybe pass at some point as well, but for now you're just gonna have to go through it. And of course, a more positive outlook on life is going to help you to navigate through all of that more, but it doesn't mean that you need to ignore it, suppress it, or deny it. At the end of the day, the problem isn't these practices themselves. It is about the pressure to conform to them. And because they work for the masses, so it seems, it can give the people who are wired a bit differently the feeling that they are doing something wrong. And that is something that I really want to avoid, because I've felt like that, and that is not a great feeling. The reality is that different things will work for different people. So maybe for you, that means rising at 5 a.m. and meditating for an hour. Maybe for you, it means getting creative at 11 p.m. and doing your meditations at 3 in the morning because you were still awake. Neither one is better and neither one is worse. The only problem is when we start to believe that one way is better than the other. And that is something that I want to let go of for once and for all. So if you've ever felt guilty because you don't do all of these spiritual things, or you do them in a different way, or you are not able to keep up to that routine, please allow this episode to be your permission slip to let go of all of this. Your spirituality is yours. If you feel like you are a spiritual person, then girl, boy, you are. And that means that you can do it in your way. So I hope that this episode resonated with you, that you loved it, and do let me know, what are some of the spiritual shoulds that you want to let go of? So send me a DM on Instagram and let me know. I would love to hear from you. And well, if you want to dive deeper into being spiritual and then maybe surrounding yourself a full day or a full weekend with people who do these practices, or maybe they do it in a different way, I will be there too. So there will at least be one person who does the things in maybe slightly a different way. Join me for my retreats in summer and fall. On July 20th, I'm hosting a one-day retreat in the nature of the Netherlands at Grounded Roots in Marne. And from the 12th until the 14th of September, I'm hosting a full weekend retreat. Both retreats are all about connecting to your soul through spiritual practices like shamanism, lots of cacao, deep soul work, connecting to nature, connecting to good community with delicious foods and practices. Also, you can have the opportunity to escape daily life for a little bit so you can meet your soul. In that space, you will be able to receive guidance and clarity on your next steps in life, your purpose in this lifetime, and also with guidance on how you can start to bring that into your reality. So if it feels like something that you would like to experience, I will drop more information about that in the show notes. So I hope to see you there. And for now, I cannot wait to whisper in your ear again next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to the Soul Shaman podcast with whispers from Haley Noah. I hope today's episode inspired you to look within and reconnect with your soul's wisdom. Remember, the answers you are longing for are already inside of you. If you loved this episode, it would mean a lot if you can subscribe, leave a review, or share this episode with someone who might need these whispers too. Until next time, keep listening to the wise whispers of your soul. My name is Haley Noah, and I cannot wait to guide you again in my next episode. Bye!